Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, welcome to another movie episode, Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight?
I'm Bill Tucker from A Gamer Looks at 40 podcast. And how could I say anything? There's like 2 pages of dialogue. It's the entire thing. Like, there's nothing to pull.
I know there's no quotes.
There are no quotes. So
unless you want to be hired. Are you single?
Unless you want me to do like a really bad Glasgow accent, then I got nothing for you.
How do I follow that up? Hey everybody, this is Kenneth Sanity and
I mean, I could have said who's with me picking up strange men in their cars.
Yeah,
but I didn't think about that.
That's too real, brother. Too real.
And I'm Tiffany Albertin, and I was forced to be here tonight.
That seems accurate. You volunteered.
I did.
It's because you didn't know what the movie was about or anything about the movie.
You were strongly convinced. You were urged on strongly.
So we are here to talk about, because this was a Patreon voted episode, because I had a Scarlett Johansson post. So we are here to cover Under the Skin. Came out in 2013, directed by Jonathan Glazer, whoever that is.
And just want to thank everybody on Patreon for making this happen. I've never been happier with the results of a poll. This is everything. Thank you.
I'm one of the dumbasses that voted for this. I was like, "Ooh, I've heard good things about this film. I'm excited to see it."
It's all your fault then.
I'm not excited. I saw it.
I don't know why.
So are we assuming that she made it previous to Avengers and it was just sitting somewhere?
No,
Avengers came out and they were like, "Yeah, let's cash in on this."
No, this came out. This was out at the same time as what Marvel movie was 2013?
2012 was Avengers.
Yeah, I think this is outside, like alongside maybe Winter Soldier or something. So,
Thor: Dark World.
If you were a Marvel fan, you could have gone to see Scarlett Johansson in her Avengers movie or whatever it was, and then gone right next door and saw this. And you're like, "Oh, I like ScarJo. Let me see. What else is she up to these days?" And there you go.
Ruined my Black Widow imagery of her.
It opened opposite Winter Soldier. It was literally opened.
I mean, she technically is a Black Widow essentially in this movie.
She didn't marry these guys.
No, but she killed them. Black Widow spiders don't marry. They just kill them. They mate and then kill them. So I don't think she made it. I think she just lured them into a black soup. Literally.
Inky black soup.
An inky black soup.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about this film. I was coerced by these two gentlemen, Bill and Kenneth.
No. You're not coerced. You put it on a poll, my friend. I mean, you do have the ability to see trailers before you put things on polls.
I went into this completely blind. I didn't watch a single trailer. I didn't look up anything about this film.
I was sold by Scarlett Johansson movie. I was like, sweet, let's go.
Same.
That's all. I didn't know anything about it actually either. I didn't look anything up either after he said he was going in blind. I was like, fine, I'm going blind too.
And I feel like an important lesson was learned here.
It was not to trust you.
well, Mike, you got a good amount of nudity. I mean, mostly male, actually. You think about it.
That surprised me. I was like, "Ooh, we're going full frontal pretty early." That's
a lot of hanging dung in this one.
I was not expecting that.
Hanging? I don't know.
No, some of them were pretty stiff. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was something I was surprised with because, in a lot of films, you don't get frontal nudity. Period.
Male frontal nudity is really hard.
Even women frontal nudity they don't do a lot either.
No.
I know. I was gonna.
So.
Way back in the day, it used to be a rule for 30 seconds, and then you were done.
Yeah, there's still something like that. I mean, I don't know. But
I watched Game of Thrones. I got my fill of male nudity for a while.
That's HBO. That's different.
Not really.
HBO has its own rules.
Basically, yeah. So I'd like to just first talk about Jonathan Glazer, the director. What you gave a sigh, Ken.
Jonathan Glazer has done some great stuff. He's also done some weird stuff.
Like this movie?
And this one is weird, but it's also great.
I disagree.
Okay, I know we're gonna disagree. What even is the point? I don't even know why we're bothering here. We know how it's gonna end up. But look, Jonathan Glazer directed Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity video, and that's really all you need to know.
Well, I would say he's one of the in the 90s was considered like the golden era of music videos. This is when music videos, you had Chris Cunningham and Jonathan Glazer, Michelle Gondry. I think Spike Jonze was kind of making his stuff then. So it's kind of when music videos were becoming short films. And Jonathan Glazer was one of those legendary. I mean, the one, if you want to point to, is really Karma Police from Radiohead. He directed that, which is a phenomenal video. I really like Rabbit in Headlights by Uncle. That is an extraordinarily good video. And they're all this kind of thing. It's a Nick Cave video he did. It's called In Your Arms or Lost in Your Arms. I forget what it's called. His videos are extraordinary. He's a really talented director. He did three films, actual proper movies. A movie called Sexy Beast
which is
2000.
Amazing.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it's really, really good. Ben Kingsley got nominated for an Oscar. He then did Birth, which is evidently terrible. Again,
I've never heard of either of these movies before.
It's not.
These are artistic films, madam.
They're artistic.
I don't know. I just want to go with that. That's how I felt with this movie.
It sounded like you said autistic.
Oh,
it really did sound like you said. Really
that was not the plan.
I was like, "They're what?"
They're artistic films. That's
that didn't help.
No.
And then his third and last film, of course, was Under the Skin, the movie which we're discussing today. And evidently, he's working on something called Zone of Interest. I don't know.
Not my interest.
But I recommend going through his music video catalog. It's really, and if you watch it, it'll all make sense. Like a lot of this makes sense as far as stylistically. The Nick Cave video is specifically, I watched that today. Again, lots of just black and white, inky darks, lots of just crying people in front of a camera. It's great. It's fantastic. and Nick Cave singing, because how can you not love Nick Cave singing? It's fantastic.
But music videos and full-on hour and a half or whatever
2 hours
2-hour movies of that is something
movie.
Different.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Is it though?
Yes.
I mean, we didn't even have a good soundtrack in this movie. Come on now.
I beg to differ.
People like
the
it.
soundtrack's
Really?
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
The soundtrack makes this movie. I think it's my favorite element. It's unbelievable. It's so good.
I didn't watch. I mean, we watched this on our TV with no surround sound. Volume was decently not high or anything, but I mean, it wasn't like the experience probably to have a good because I watched a YouTube video after this that kind of explained some things, and the movie made a little bit more sense to me.
Okay, I did not watch this video.
You didn't need to, but it still didn't I didn't realize that whenever she is talking to men, a certain soundtrack starts playing, her hunting music, as they called it, and that made okay, because I didn't really put that together when I was watching the film. I was whatever because it's supposed to be because
picked it up.
Oh, I didn't. I was just
it's not. It's just like a instrumental weird thing.
I want my when Wonder Woman shows up, not whatever it was.
The whole clock ticking clock. If that is what it is when they're in the inky as she's walking.
You want your fighting pose. That's what you want. You want your fighting pose.
I want fighting pose. I want action. I want her breaking her nose that makes no sense because she can't smell. All of a sudden, I want that. That's what I want. My ScarJo.
Oh, is that what happened to you? You broke your nose so you can't smell?
I wish I could smell.
You cannot. Okay, let's move on.
It's this movie made no money.
Yeah, no money.
This movie lost a lot of money
or something.
It lost a lot of money.
It lost a good chunk of change. It was in production for 10 years, and as per Wikipedia and all the information. Yeah, this movie is very strange. It was gonna be a big sci-fi, not action movie, but a big deal, like Blade Runner probably style action movie, very large sets and big ideas. And over time, it got pared down. Brad Pitt was attached to it for a little while, but after a while, they had a number of ideas for the lead, and then they went with Scarlett Johansson because she was super duper famous at the time. She was doing a lot of work, and
she also stayed attached to the project the longest.
Right, exactly.
She was attached for 4 years and didn't go anywhere. So they were like, "All right, cool, yeah,
hey, stick around." This movie is, I guess we're not going to go beat by beat. I don't think this is the kind of movie where I think we can go idea by idea. I think that's kind of what I would think.
There is a very definitive narrative here. It would be easy to go beat by beat, but
I don't want to.
Yeah, I think more of a popcorn kind of conversation. So it's clearly Mike and Tiff were not fans. They are less than enthused.
No.
And Ken, I think you're a huge fan.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say huge. Like, I enjoy it. It's not a movie that I'm like, oh, man, I need to feel good about myself. I'm going to watch Under the Skin.
No, it's not a feel-good movie.
But I will say that it is a movie that, I've watched a few times now, and I've enjoyed it.
Were we supposed to, eat an edible or smoke some weed before we watched this movie and you forgot to tell us?
I don't think... It wasn't, it wasn't colorful enough for that.
But would it have made more sense?
I don't think so.
You probably would have just fallen asleep. Let's be honest. You would have just fallen asleep.
I was already trying not to fall asleep.
This is a movie where I paused it. It was half an hour. I'm like, oh, we're only half an hour in.
Yeah.
I paused it again. We're an hour in. Oh.
He never does anything. I'm like, how long is this movie I have to watch for you?
Aren't you amazed how unsexy naked Scarlett Johansson is? But
yes.
I mean, beautiful woman, obviously, but not erotic. It's
in that context, it wasn't.
No.
She was still sexy to me and beautiful, but it wasn't a sexy scene.
But it also it felt normally when you have nudities in movies or nudity in things, it doesn't always fit. It feels like you're just trying to get idiots to go see it. And all the nudity in this felt like it actually had a point in the film, and that was something that I was interesting. The fact with her nudity, it's not played off to be sexy. It's her looking at her body.
She hasn't seen it before.
Yeah, in the context of it, because she's not human.
She shows the lamp in her hoo-ha.
Yes. But it works. It was this makes sense in the context of what's happening. And it really affects what's happening to her. And it's this is when you should have it in a movie, not some movies. So I was like, okay.
No, it makes sense. And I'll just state what kind of my thoughts on it, just to kind of say it is, this is a movie I admire. I admire this movie greatly. I can't say I enjoy it because it's a tough watch, but it's one I admire. It's the kind of movie where I remember seeing this in theaters. I saw this theatrically because, again, I like the director and I know his work from the music videos and all that. And I remember sitting there, and this is one of those movies where I probably saw it. I lived in Austin. I wasn't in New York. So I probably saw it at the Violet Crown Cinema, which is the small independent cinema. You go there, it's 75 people per theater. You get fancy popcorn with, I don't know, aioli next to it, right? It's a very fancy theater, very independent. You sit down and you're watching it, and then everybody in the foyer after is going, oh, yes, oh, themes, yes. And I walk out going, what was that? I walk out feeling like an idiot. I feel like a dumb idiot who just wants to munch popcorn and watch Scarlett Johansson jump kick people in the head. And I think I remember walking out of this going, I am a stupid man. I am not a film goer. But then after you think about it and you sit on it, and I thought about it, and all the things kind of coming to me. And in this, I've seen it one more time before this. And the second time around, it really clicked. All the themes and everything just made sense. And I enjoyed it more. And now this time around, I enjoyed about the same. So I really like this, but in more of an admiration as opposed to an enjoyment. Kind of like a Lars von Trier. I appreciate him, but I don't like him. But I appreciate his work. I appreciate what it does. Even like David Lynch. I'm not a David Lynch fan, but I respect his work. I admire it, but not something I go out and see. I know people kill me for that. I don't know. I just don't get it. But anyway, so this is a movie that you see in theaters and you feel stupid walking out. At least for me, that's exactly what happened with me the first time I saw this theatrically. It wasn't what I waste, because again, I can appreciate how beautifully shot this is made. This is a gorgeously crafted movie. I mean, in nearly every respect. But I just felt stupid because I felt like I should have been like the smart people who walked out, stroking their beards, going, "Oh yes, hey, huh." And I'm just like, that was pretty, but so what? I like plot and characters and scenes and order and narrative. That's what I like about movies. But I did, of course, appreciate again how just gorgeously shot and just And I guess so. For me, it took a second watching to really okay. Now I'm getting the themology, and I think it's really strong sci-fi. I mean, Ken, I don't know if you agree as well. I think as a science fiction story, I think it's really strong.
I would absolutely agree. It is a really good science fiction story, especially when it comes to themes of discovering one's humanity and discovering what it's like to be a human.
Yeah.
Yep. This movie really is one of those philosophical ones for me. the ones that people do talk about and stroking their beard. Yes, I see you. Like, I can see
it's worth it though. Yeah.
Where you had that experience and you felt like that, because like my first time around, like, you know, I felt like I got some of it, but other things just kind of eluded me. And I didn't watch it in the best circumstance. Like, you know, it was not a great theater.
Mm-hmm.
I was with, you know, people who wanted to talk during the movie and who were focusing on other parts of the movie, which I'm sure we all know what they were. But like when I actually got to sit with this movie and watch it and actually like just sit in front of my television, you know, fairly large television, not huge, but, you know, fairly large, and just like got to sit in front of it, let the music wash over me. It felt like a much better, more cohesive experience the at least second time. And every other time I've watched it, I feel like I get more out of it than I did the previous time.
I can see that. Like after I watched the YouTube video and it explained certain things, the movie became more interesting to me. Like in the very opening of this movie, you have this random guy that never speaks throughout the entire film on a motorcycle who just grabs a body.
They could have had a cuter looking guy for that part. If he's not going to talk, why not just have like a group all model?
It makes sense to me later. Like now I understand what was happening. But in the context of the movie, I had no idea what was going on.
That the biker is actually a professional road racer, because
Still could have been cuter. I'm just saying. What?
That's fair. I mean, I'm sure there's a highly attractive motorcyclist out there. Yeah, they had to hire. I don't know, but I don't think he was bad looking. He had a rugged kind of like, you know, way about him. I thought he's like an interesting character. He's very ambiguous on what his role is. I always kind of saw him as like the handler almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that kind of that's how I was? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one, like, he gets the clothes for the... We don't have character names. There are no character names in this movie. There's I'm sorry.
What are we calling her? The alien?
There's one character name. One character name is, like, you know, during the course of the film, and only if you're paying attention.
What name is that?
That would be the name of a gentleman who drowned in a lake.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Okay, you're
Kenneth.
right.
Yes,
I just laughed at that. Like, I chuckled at the end of it when they said his name, just because there's a Kenneth on this episode. And I was like, oh, it wasn't a happy scene at all. But
I don't understand that whole beach scene, though. Somebody explain that to me.
I think it's supposed to, like, I'll take my dumb take on it first. I think it's supposed to explain her, like, no emotional towards watching two people just drown trying to save an animal and leave a baby alone, orphanless, and she had no remorse, and then
she just
hits the guy over the head and just takes him away. Like, I think that's what it was supposed to be.
I also took it. She's surprised because before, you know, while he's going out there to save somebody, she's watching him run out into this ocean. You know, obviously, you know, it's a strong, you know, tide and waves, and watching someone be selfless. And I take it as like she's surprised because her first brushes with humanity is animalistic. It's just sex, and I think she's trying to learn what it is to be human. But her first instinct, of course, is a sexual one. Like, okay, here's how I'm going to figure this out. And then when she sees somebody go beyond that and be selfless, she's like, huh, that's interesting. But then she realizes we need to eat these human beings, and then clunks them in the head and throws them into the goop maker. So so it's again, her still kind of figuring it out. And I love the fact that she just sits there and watches it. I had to, as soon as I saw the baby, I said, oh, fuck, no, this is the baby scene. Oh, God, that's right. Oh no, I had to scrub past it. I had to. I could not.
No, it's tough.
I could not. Again, dad vibes. I'm sure I didn't care when I saw this in 2013. Dad vibes. Nope.
Yeah, it's hard.
If there's something involving like kids and nope, that's a big line for me. And I just went tap 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 on the computer, and away I went. So, but yeah, it's a tough scene, and a doggo dies. Aw, can't have doggos dying. Not
Does
good.
the doggo die though? Do you know that?
We don't know that.
It didn't report in the paper.
Yeah.
No,
I think they were probably more concerned about the missing child
Probably.
than the family pooch. But I mean, yeah.
Well, Ocean is not nice.
Whatever.
No, it's not. I've told it.
Go and Peter, come back.
I would just mourn the dog. I can't. Everyone knows on this show I don't like water. The ocean is not my friend. Lakes are not my friend. Puddles are barely my friend. I don't like
Evil
water.
puddles out there, bro.
It's very scary.
They hide potholes up here in the north. So hey.
That's what that
It's
is.
fair.
But no, I don't like the ocean either. So like when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this just like the guy, like I'm watching the scene, I'm like, what the hell? Like I didn't understand the context of it until again the YouTube video explained it. That's how I didn't get it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like I don't understand. And then she just hits the guy over there with a rock and takes him away. I'm like, what the?
Just Drake. So for her being an alien, I figured she would be stronger.
Again, another thing that I didn't catch during my watch of this movie is in the very first thing when they bring that random girl in, they put her on the floor and she's undressing her. Scarlett Jo's undressing her and then putting on her clothes. I guess she's supposed to be an alien, which I didn't compute. And the reason why she had a tear going down her eye, I guess, what the YouTube video told me, which made this movie more like, by watching the video, it made the movie make sense to me, and then I had a more appreciation for it, that she was having emotions, and that's why she's there, because she failed, because she started feeling for the humans. You can't feel for your food source. Not like that.
I tried that once, it didn't work out well.
But, like, I mean, I get it. Like, I get why this movie takes that step where it does everything where nothing's, told to you. Nothing, like, you just have to absorb it and put two and two together. And my dumbass apparently doesn't like those kind of movies, I found out. But, like, I do appreciate for what it is when someone explained it to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Again, this movie is, if you walk away from this movie saying that sucked, I can't stand it, you're right. That's fine. You have every right to say that, because this is a tough pill to swallow and it's not something for everybody. But I think it does reward multiple viewings, and I think just from a filmmaking perspective as well. I mean, those scenes of her prey being lured into the black goop, them fully aroused. Fully, that surprised me again. I was like, oh boy, goodness gracious.
I wasn't expecting that the first time they show it with a guy from the football game, essentially.
Calling him Mr. Happy.
And that's what he was, Mr. Happy. And it's just like, I was expecting, okay, they're going to cut, and all of a sudden, he takes off his underwear, and I'm like, oh, they didn't cut. Like, they didn't, like, normally a camera will stay up. Nope. They're like, here you go.
No, it's very striking, and it's so off-putting and strange. And that scene when he descends into the water and he sees the bloated body of the swimmer, and that swimmer just gets sucked into, he's just a lifeless husk, like he just gets absorbed into himself, is so scary and so effective, and just, again, gorgeous how it lingers on there. And again, it's showing you that, because the actual novel this came from is about aliens who come to Earth to use humans for food. Like that's the whole point of this book. So, and that's why you have like the red goop going into like shoot and all. But I love the fact that the movie only does really two scenes of the three scenes of goopage. 3, right? It's the 2 people, and of course the third person who she frees.
There's Mr. Happy, the guy from the football game. You don't see anything. Then there's the guy from the club that she is hunting and then leaves because he goes into more of a social area.
And then he hunts her.
Essentially, his dumbass goes, yeah, I'll go with you. And then the guy with the disfigured face.
That she lets free?
Yeah.
Yep. And like, we just spent a lot of time talking about the beach scene. I'm not going to keep bringing up that unfortunate harshness of that scene.
Yeah.
But that is a really important scene. I think that is the scene that starts everything that leads to the ending, because there's a crying baby in the scene, and baby's just hanging out on the beach, and she doesn't do anything with the baby. Baby's just there. So she drags away the body of the Czech swimmer that she's talking to, and right after that, she's sitting in her van, stuck in traffic, looks over, and there's another crying baby, and you can see it really bothers her.
Oh.
And if you listen really, really closely, for the rest of the movie, every time she's unsettled, you can hear in the soundtrack a crying baby.
Wow.
Cool.
I didn't catch that. I did not catch that. Wow.
I did not either.
Wow.
Yes.
Very cool.
I did catch
Very
the
cool.
car, remember? Never mind.
But like, that is the moment when she starts going from like, whatever, this is food time, to, oh, wait, maybe these humans have something a little more about them.
That is very good observation. That's an excellent observation. Nicely done.
That's why they pay me nothing to be on this podcast.
That's it. You guys, I always say you get what you pay for with me. So
And we love you for it.
But no, I mean, that's like I appreciate things about this movie. It's like we talk about it, and as I heard about it, like I can appreciate it more like the subtleties of what the movie's trying to tell you. Like, I mean, early on, I was like, it didn't click right away. Like, I mean, I knew something was up when I'd see her. She's talking to the guy, like, oh, she's like, how do I get here? And she's asking for directions. And then she's like, well, do you live alone? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? And I'm like, and then all of a sudden they're gone. I'm like, well, yeah, and I knew a little like she's an alien.
She's making sure no one will come find them.
Yeah, which was smart. And it didn't click right away what she was doing exactly.
It doesn't click to these horny guys that some random beautiful girl is just asking about your life story to make sure no one's coming to look for you.
To be fair, though, most of the men in this movie don't fall for it. And she, as soon as she hears, because she asks if they live alone. And if they don't live alone, or one person's like, oh, I have a family, she just drives away. Like she only wants those who are alone, who have no attachments. And so even then, so most of the guy, it takes her all day to find the first person. And of course, it's someone from I love the fact, by the way, that this, of course, takes place in Scotland, which most of the dialogue you can't understand anyway, unless you really understand a ridiculous. I didn't watch it with subtitles. I probably should have, but just that really tough Glasgow accent. I
really fast.
Oh God,
yes, they all talk super fast, and I love the fact that the first scene where she's kind of making that left turn through the crowd of, I guess we'll say soccer hooligans, since we're in America, football hooligans. They're all wearing green, and they're fans of the Celtics, because in Scotland, you have the Celtics and you have the Rangers. And God save you if you walk into a Celtics bar with Rangers wear on, and vice versa. It's a serious problem.
Down.
You will be injured. Like I know this because I have a dear friend of mine who's from Scotland. And he explained that to me because he was a bartender in New York. And as I think people should know, I'm a fan of the New Jersey Devils hockey team. And he started getting into hockey because I always have it on the bar and he put it on. And I'm like, so, are you going to become a fan? And he says, well, I'm not going to be an Islanders fan because who cares about them? And he's like, I cannot be a Rangers fan because I loathe anything with the word Rangers on it, because he grew up a Celtics fan. And he explained, he's like, yeah, that's oil and vinegar. Like, that's a serious problem. So I just got a kick out of everyone in their green Celtics gear coming out. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let's reminded me of my friend Aiden. Aiden, I thought of you when I saw this movie Under the Skin.
Aww.
Yeah, I miss Aiden. I thought about it. I'm like, man, I got to reach out to Aiden. What's he up to? He's back in Scotland.
One thing I also found out when researching for this, the YouTube video, those scenes where she's talking to random guys, that wasn't scripted.
Yep.
It's just random people, like the random people that don't get in the car, they just filmed her and then later on had them sign it. It's like, yeah, can we put it in the movie? So that wasn't like, she's just...
That's cool, though.
I like that. I was like, okay, that's impressive.
So the guys that got in the car, they paid.
Yeah, those are all the actors. But just the random people.
Yeah, she's
like,
actors, right? Yeah.
How do I get here? And they're like, no, and they're just talking to her like, yeah, go this way. And then
I bet directions anyways, and listening to those people go right, and then down, and then left, and another. I'm like, oh my God, what?
And don't forget, straight through the roundabout. That is one thing that always is fun.
That was awful. I was like, wait, will we die? What?
Yes, you will.
Or what's a roundabout in Scotland? Is it different?
The same thing.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing.
You just apparently don't go in the circle. You just go through. Make the lane is not there.
Do the one, you do like half of a circle and go out. Come on.
But it was just, again, stuff like that made me appreciate this more. And like, I'm assuming when they filmed the Scarlett Johansson, wasn't as famous as she is now. Like, people would be like, wait, you're Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. I'm guessing it was filmed a few years before, at least 2 before
Avengers or right around.
Out. Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do that.
Maybe that's why they're in Scotland.
Maybe.
Less famous? I don't know. But there was like other stuff I didn't catch, like the part when she goes to the mall because she's trying to observe humans and our ways of, getting beautified, essentially, for lack of a better word, in my brain. And like, none of that clicked. Yeah, none of that clicked when I watched it. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? It wasn't until the video explains, until someone sat down and said, Mike, this is what's happening. I went, that's cool. Yeah. It was
that's why she put the lips. Oh my goodness.
I know, none of it clicked.
When I put makeup on, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, but you're not going out hunting. So I'm going to make food.
You don't know that. I go out without you all the time. You don't know what I'm doing.
Is there black goo somewhere? I don't know about it in this house.
I gotta go clean that up. It's starting to smell.
It was just like, none of it clicked. And I thought that was interesting. Like, it was just one of those, and again, it's not a movie where they have it's meant to be subtle. It's meant to make you question things or put it together like subtly. I guess what I should say, not like a unicorn origami that you're just supposed to just be like, oh, what does that mean, huh? But yeah, it was better. Blade Runner reference.
Stop.
Never.
I do think that it's really interesting that the outfit she picks out, it's a very tactile outfit. Like, she chooses the outfit based on touch, which I thought was pretty fascinating.
Cool.
Yeah, I did not catch that.
Fur coat, soft sweater, jeans.
Yeah. And those boots. Those nice furry boots that she walked in the ocean with. What the hell?
And then she goes running in the woods with and climbing. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to break an ankle.
At least she didn't have high heels.
No, see, I just kept thinking cold feet. Oh God, that thing just like a matted dog now. Those fluffy, Ugg boots.
I know. I was like, oh man, you spent so much money on that. What a shame. What a shame.
It wasn't okay. It's an interesting look too. They went through. They didn't go for like a real like slutty look either. Like I thought that was, well, they didn't. I mean, they went for something much more like casual. Is how she is, but I mean, she's still, Larry meant to their death. So
you can make anything look.
Yes,
yeah, she's still Scarlett Johansson.
She's Scarlett Johansson, so she worked that fur coat, baby.
But just like the whole idea is to just learn all these people in the van, and then like I think it's early on you see that
she's not watching the road while she's.
No, and then they go to like abandoned houses, and I was just like, no,
isn't it the same one?
Yes,
no. It's the same place.
Same place.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. When I saw him, like, I like how the one guy's like, should I really go in here? And he just goes in there anyway. I'm like, oh, you get what you deserve at that point. But
okay, yeah, like let's talk about that real quick. So the first couple guys she hunts, which by the way, the hunting scenes absolutely shot like a serial killer movie.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, put a guy in there. You got Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig the way that they flip that on it. Like
lots of like low angles and hidden. You can tell clearly it's like hidden camera stuff. Like it's really immediate too. Like you're right there in the moment.
Yeah.
But the first guys that she takes are at night, so they're not going to see the house, and they're all too horned up to even give a shit. But the one guy that you're talking about that decides to go, I don't know, do I really want to go in there? Yeah, I guess. He was during the day.
Oh, yeah. Because they were out all night at the club because she's dancing and stuff.
Oh, is it that one?
Yeah. That's the one where she's hunting him and then she gets turned away. Then these bunch of women kind of like pull her along into the bar.
I can see how that happened.
So, like, that's where... Yeah, that's... Okay, I didn't catch that it was during the day. That makes sense now. I mean, I still abandoned house.
I don't remember that part.
I don't know. I wouldn't... But
I don't remember him saying
I also never had anyone like, oh, come with me. So, I can't really say.
But, like, she primarily hunts at night. But as she becomes more conflicted about her humanity and what it means, she spends more and more time out in the daylight.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Very true.
So, and during the day is where she was parked on the street. And there was that scene of only women walking around. Like,
and
during the day.
Yeah, and I love how she feels like she's recording it. The way the film is kind of showcasing all of these just regular people walking around doing their everyday stuff. It feels like it's from her perspective recording and seeing all these different like female people. I know I've heard a lot of theories on this, some of it being almost like a reverse rape, kind of film where I don't quite buy it. I like to take it more on its face where it's again an alien trying to learn what it is to be human and doing so in a particular way. There's been a lot of stuff read into this movie, I think, but it is the kind of movie that does bear discussion, and I think that's a good thing.
So here's the interesting thing. You said alien trying to become human. I'm saying alien accidentally becoming human.
That's interesting. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I can
like
go with
that.
that.
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your expand on that, please, sir, if you could. My scholarly friend.
Let me stroke my beard here.
Please stroke your beard. Yes.
Yes.
We can't
look at the movie as the pursuit of food of the book from the book that was done by what's his name? Not seriously, I don't remember his name. Michael.
That's it. You're out of the film society. Out.
Yeah, so the book was originally written by Michael Faber, and in it, the alien was searching for food. The hitchhikers were human meat for the haves on the alien world as opposed to the have-nots, of course. You'll see. And, all right,
Quite.
I've taken that bit too far.
It was good.
It was good. You jumped out. You punched out at the right time. Well done.
All right. So if you look at it from the point of view where, yes, she is collecting food, there's not supposed to be any attachment. This is a very much a slaughterhouse worker type of thing.
Yeah.
You do what you do to get the meat. You go home. Everybody's happy. You got your puddle of goo. You got your slop on a conveyor belt. Everybody gets their pizza. But the unintentional, unfortunate side effect that leads to the rest of this movie is the baby on the beach. Because that starts the humanization process. And it really comes to a head with the gentleman with the facial lesions.
I think it's so...
Oh.
All that stuff is so...
was very, like, at first, when I first saw this, before he takes off his hood, I was expecting that, okay, he's not human, he's also an alien. Like, I was expecting they were going to go somewhere down that road.
Jesus Christ, that's rude.
Well, that's what I... before you saw...
Before
you saw the fact you just figured, I thought that's what they were going for because they purposely were hiding his face with a hood in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was shot, I thought that's what they were going... Like, I thought it was something of that nature. Because I was still thinking that there was going to be more action or more, like, something else is going to happen. I wasn't expecting...
Besides walking through a puddle of black goo.
Yes, I was expecting something else to happen. And I wasn't, but then all of a sudden you have this guy that's, disfigured. And I'm like, okay, where are they going with this? And it wasn't really what I expected, but I the way they went with it was interesting. Like, here he is, a guy that, he has these disfigurements and things, and like the way that she approaches him the way that that she normally approaches her prey, and then like, she's using you've been with a woman before, like, you want to touch my skin, and like just the way that all went, like, it was very interesting, like, and then you can kind of start to see where she doesn't seem as much of the hunter as she normally is. She seemed a little different, I was noticing.
Okay, so first off, that actor, his name is Adam Pearson. He actually does have he has neurofibromatosis, which is what causes those facial disfigurements.
Okay.
And the production team actually went to a charity called Changing Faces to get someone with actual facial disfigurements to play this character.
That's cool.
And he ended up suggesting how Scarlett Johansson's character could seduce him for the script that were actually used in the movie. Like the whole, when was the last time you touched someone? Would you like to touch my face? That came from him.
Amazing. Yeah, that's
cool.
And it's so beautiful. I mean, watching this, and again, when the first time you see it, you probably you may get the sense that something is wrong, but you don't get alien, right? I mean, at least for me, and again, this may be to be stupid, Bill, looking at the movie going, I didn't get alien. I just got something's up, right? Obviously, this woman is not who she thinks, she's something's up, right? But that moment of her kind of, again, this is second viewing stuff, her letting him touch her face and just having this natural empathy, and his reactions to these advances and these requests is so real. And that makes perfect sense that this came from him. Like, this is the kind of thing he would want someone how he would like to connect with somebody. And it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just beautiful. And not creepy. I don't want to say creepy. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful and unnerving and unsettling, and
it's
lots of emotions in there. It's lots of emotions, and it's great.
It takes it where, like, I could see that these guys are like, you got the guy at the club, you got the dumbass, soccer guy, and then you have someone that, didn't just want to get in her, in her van, and he mostly did it because, like, okay, you'll give me a ride to the store. I just want to go to the store. Like, you felt more for him than you do for the other two guys. Like, oh, I'm gonna get laid. Oh, you're gonna get eaten. But
okay, well,
the whole time is like, is this a dream? Is this a dream? And then you're like, no, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So I got a really cool observation about this. I do. I'm sorry.
All right. I mean, listen. So
during all the other Black Goose scenes, Scarlett Johansson always has bra and panties on, except for this one. This one, she was completely naked while getting him into the black goo. And I think it was because it took more to get him to follow.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Because I think he was very cynical about the whole thing. Like, he's probably just like, oh, great, she's just going to make fun of me. Okay, whatever. Fine. I'm going to go along with it to a point, but it's not real. And shit, man, it's just a bummer. Like,
Yeah.
and he goes into the black goo.
Yeah, he goes in the black goo. When she goes downstairs, I caught it, like, even without watching the YouTube, I caught this, where she stands at the mirror for a second and, like, just stares at the mirror.
And I think that's a what if I become stare.
Okay.
Because she's now been cursed with empathy.
And she's kind of trying to wrestle with who she is and her newfound empathy. And although I gotta say, throw some clothes on the man before you send him out the middle of the wilderness to wander around towards town.
Yeah,
I know
right?
she can't. I mean, again, she's not equipped to do these things. But hey, better that than being sucked into the evil goop and then have your insides schlorked out of your body and thrown into a black and white chute. So hey, I guess
I mean,
like, his clothes were right there.
They were right there. That's right. They step on them. That's right. The clothes were right there. She could have just. Maybe it was one of those things where she just like, you have to get out of here before I change my mind. No time for dress now.
He runs off, and then you see the motorcycle guy randomly just find him at some. Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be his house that he went to.
No,
I don't understand.
I think that was just opportunity. Like, I need to get, because he's now, the handler realizes yet another one of my aliens, yet another one is gotten all human emotion. And we need to kind of set her straight, which is why I love that scene where he's just staring at her and examining her, almost
I didn't get that.
Are you broken? Something's up. Something's up. All right. I'm gonna let you steal one more person, and then of course when she lets him go, that's when he's off to the races. Like, we gotta find you now. That's how
she runs away. It's after that and there's one scene, I don't remember if it's before or after this, where she parks the van. A guy starts talking to her, and then they try to like carjack her. And I can't remember when that was, but that was a little like, I was confused, like, what the hell is happening? And you realize, okay, they're trying to steal the car.
I told you that.
Yes, you did. I didn't put two and two. I was like, what? But I was also kind of checked out too.
That's because you're a guy watching it.
Yes. Which was, I mean, again, that's one reason I definitely wanted you to come on here, and you're like, I don't want to. But
I didn't. I still don't.
Because
I'm being held against my will. Somebody call help.
Blink twice if you need help.
I blinked just like 5 times.
There's no camera. That's the joke.
Can't see it. It doesn't count.
I blinked like 5 times with that car.
No. The camera's on this laptop. That's close. Not this one. I don't have a camera on this one. Nor do I turn on cameras if he's recording. They make the videos too big. And they're hard to convert. But that's neither here nor there. But, again, that was an interesting, like, when you brought that point up to me, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then it wasn't until later on when we were talking in the group chat where, like, you had brought up points to kind of, like the idea that, not even idea, but more of, like, the culture of humans, in this era, like, the rape culture and things and what women have to go through. I try to be very conscious of that in general, but, like, I wasn't thinking of that during this film at this point, but that's kind of what I felt like they were, in a way, like in that part showing where the guys just try to carjack her.
Because now we know why the handler's a male and the whatever you want to call Scarlett Johansson is a female. The hunter is a female.
That's what I called her. I mean,
because if you had it reversed, they'd be starving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because no way, no how would a female get in a guy's van. I mean, I suppose maybe it depends, but
yeah, it's not like. Is much less likely, especially when like what she's doing is gonna be much easier for a woman, especially a woman look like Scarlett Johansson, to sit here and, of course, men to come with her. So.
Right, and I don't know, it's weird, that scene in particular where she's like experiencing that, all the youths jumping on her car and whatnot. Like, it's, for the longest time I was like, why is this scene here? Why? I don't get it. And then I got it. So, after she releases the gentleman with the facial disfigurements, she's, shown empathy. That is, her transition into humanity. Like, whether she likes it or not, she has feelings now. And from that point, she stops getting the hunter experience and now is almost transitioning into a more human female experience.
Okay.
Like dealing with, all the things that women all over the world have to deal with. The harassment, the side eyes for eating a piece of cake, the assault in the Walker shelter. No, thank you.
I don't know if we've gotten to that point yet.
We haven't
Sorry.
yet.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
We're
But
getting
yeah,
real close there, but
okay.
like releasing the gentleman with the facial disfigurements, that is the turning point where she goes from hunter to human female as far as the experience that life is happening. And that's when she starts getting, all the negative things that come along with that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the very telling points of this is too, and you're right, because she also has that moment where she's stopped at I don't think she's at a light. I forget where she's at. It's dark, and the gang of guys show up and start stomping on the car and pulling out the window, and she drives off, not afraid, but almost bewildered, like why? Like why is this happening almost? And like you're right, because she starts experiencing, again, being the hunted, she starts experiencing the negative parts. But I do love the whole long sequence of her meeting the guy on the bus. And that's after she starts seeing the awful side of humans. That's after, I think, the cake scene where she tries the cake and spits it out because it's like disgusting to her. She kind of retches almost.
It was unfortunate because that cake looked good. I don't like
cake.
cake,
Looked shit.
but
I was
it
like,
looked good.
I saw this 2 nights ago. It was like 12:20 in the morning. I'm like, man, I could go for a piece of cake. Now my body's hungry.
That's like expensive cake too.
I'm up way too late. Look, a piece of cake. And she's now experiencing all these negative things. She's getting, like you say, Ken, she's getting all the different experiences, including developing a connection. And this guy who's taking her in really has no sexual motivation, really. I mean, again, she's an attractive woman, so of course, but like his intentions, at least in my estimation, were one of just being kind, but then kind of falling for her a bit, like this genuine affection, not love. I don't think at this point I won't go that far, but it was a kindness. And again, through all of that, she's confused. She's like almost to the point where, how do these humans have all these different sides to them? And that's kind of what this is really about. Is her discovering humanity is not just a cow in the field. There's a lot of stuff under the skin. Banana. Oh, I had to do it once, Ken. Come on.
Oh, it's fine.
It was well played.
It's fine. Listen, I had to do it once. But anyway, that's kind of how I feel about it, because I do find that all that, especially when they go to the castle and he picks her up and carries her over the puddle, sloshing his shoes too. A lot of shoe sloshing in this film. Like, dude, your shoes are now ruined and your feet are now wet. You're not prepared. You live in Glasgow. It always rains. It does nothing but rain in that country. So why are you?
But they were cute scenes in that way of like, and you're right, it wasn't really of sexual, because he takes her, he's like, okay, you stay in your room, he closes the door, he's like,
here's your ginormous cup of hot chocolate.
But yes, but it was just, hey, look where I live, it's cold. So
that much.
But it was kind of nice after seeing what you had earlier, and like, like when you approach on, like you guys saying, like approach on the bus, and the bus driver, like, leave her alone, when again, not watching the road.
I felt like the bus driver was creepier than he was. Like, where's your coat, young lady? I couldn't even understand what the hell he was saying, to be honest with you.
He also wasn't watching the road.
I have severe anxieties of driving, and I'm a nervous rider. The whole time, anybody driving, they were looking at their passengers, not the road. I'm like, you're driving a bus, please watch the road.
So we should watch Fast and Furious 2 together.
That's completely different. That's a different context. They're supposed to. I don't know why it gave me anxiety watching it.
That guy's like, probably
Scarlett Johansson's gonna burn up and die before I figure out what the fuck she is.
That guy has driven this route a million times. He literally could probably do it with his eyes closed. He doesn't need to see the road. The road sees him. It's fine.
No, he's just looking at her boobs. Where's your jacket?
But it was just interesting to have it, her not being the hunter, for it not being a sexual scene, like with all this, where the guy's just like, I want to help you. I don't, understand what's happening. And then like, when they do finally, when they have sex later, like it doesn't come off as
she initiates it.
Yes, that too. But she isn't trying to like, lead him into a black pool either this time. She's just trying to
but she never
experiment.
Got that far with the rest of them, did she?
No. She just stripped.
She just stripped and was like, here's my sexy body.
And you go in the goo.
Come to your death.
And they're like, yup.
Yes.
I will step into the black goop for you. But this is a very human experience. Like, this is her having enjoying the sensations of a sexual experience that's based off connection, not just, a Black Widow. I'm not being a pun. I promise I'm not. Like a Black Widow, like spinning a web, bringing in prey, right? Like, or a succubus, just in
succubus better.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't trying to make a bad pun. I promise.
I like the Black Widow pun better,
I
but
like
both
the
are fine.
succubus.
Both are fine. I do. I work for everybody. But yeah, like a succubus, she's just experiencing it. And what I really find very interesting, and took me a couple of I had to actually back it up a little bit when she jumps up, and then she examines herself. Like, what is that feeling? Because they cut to something for like a split second, and I'm assuming that's a penis going close to a vagina. I'm assuming, of course, you can't show that in a rated R movie. That's immediately where you become pornography, but evidently. But so I don't know. I'm assuming that's what it was. Like she felt that sensation and was like, okay, I gotta see what this is. Good golly, Miss Molly. Wow.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe
I don't know if you got
like-
different thing from me, Ken. Maybe I'm missing something.
So I thought maybe after watching all the way to the end that maybe he ripped her skin when he tried to enter her,
Ooh,
and she felt it, and she was like, "Wait, what's that?"
Because I'm assuming over time, the skin would eventually deteriorate because it's not renewing itself because it's not supposed to be there.
I don't know. Do you know? Maybe it's not skin. Maybe it just looks like skin, feels like skin, but it's space age polymer.
I mean, hell, that last scene when she holds her head in her hands, and I'm just like, "Wah!" So.
But
And she was still blinking.
I thought of Bill immediately.
Oh, Bill, we love you.
Whenever I think of any gory scene or this wasn't gory, but anything creepy,
gory,
anything creepy like that, I think of Bill immediately. So
thanks,
you're welcome, Bill.
Thank you. I guess I appreciate it. It's
man,
It's better than the reanimator head, okay?
Yes, I will say this is much more artfully done than somebody's head popped up through a hole in the middle of a surgical tray, going wow. Yes, this is definitely more artfully composed.
yeah. Well, look. All right, fools you. That's art too.
It is. Oh, listen, Ken, you and I are gonna do our own show without these two. And Michael just put it up on his podcast, and we'll just talk about the joys of Reanimator. We'll find one other crazy person, and we'll just glow about this movie and give it the proper treatment it deserves on this podcast.
Limited series. Just do all the Reanimator movies, one episode at a time.
Wait, how many are there?
It's like 4.
3 or
Oh,
4,
we
I
can
think.
watch the other ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Poor Mike. He's lost control of his show. You gotta bring it back in, brother. It is your show. You don't have to do
Get it out.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Part of the joy of the show is doing things that I never would have done otherwise.
It's
So.
my show.
Yeah, you know what? Good for you. That's true. Right. You've never have seen this movie otherwise.
No, and the only reason I watched this movie because you guys had talked about it. It was just an excuse for me to make a poll and put Sharp Chance movies I never saw. What the purpose was to watch this movie. That purpose I regret. That was the purpose.
I voted against it. I would just like to say I voted against it. I don't remember
You're
what
gonna
I
watch
voted
it again.
for, but I voted against
You
it.
didn't want to watch
You
it.
should watch.
I
I mean,
watch
look.
it. He made me watch it anyways.
I don't know when. I don't know how. But one day you will watch this again because
No.
you'll want to watch it again.
No, I don't
I
think
can
can
think about it.
promise.
You're gonna
I
see.
said I promise. That sounded so
And-
ominous.
And
And you're gonna
and
see
also-
Scarlett Johansson doing something in some movie, and you will never look at her the same way again, which is fine. And you're gonna think about that Under the Skin movie that those two creepy people made you watch, you and your poor husband. And and you're gonna think, you're like, and I'm telling you that's what's gonna happen, because that's what happened to me. I walked out of this movie like a lummox, and then like days later and weeks later and months later, and then I saw it again, and I'm like, oh, this is okay. Now I'm absorbing this a bit more. I think it really does rewards a second viewing.
No, I agree. Based on just the YouTube video that explained things, like I was curious to watch this again. Not curious enough to actually put it on, but I was curious to watch it again.
I was thinking about it, but I decided not to.
You watch RuPaul's Drag Race instead.
I watched RuPaul's Drag Race.
So,
Jigglypuff got her ass kicked off. Sorry, I'm okay now.
season 4. For those like, what the fuck is she talking about? So, yes. But like it was just one of the things where I was curious to watch it again. Like I was like, if I would have had a podcast to edit, I could have put this on and watched it today. I had no podcast to edit, so it did not get put on again. But I was like, okay, I could put this on randomly in the background, just kind of pay attention to it.
You couldn't though.
I already seen it once.
Pay attention to it.
But I watch everything. Except I did watch this without podcast editing, and I think that's why I was more upset because I had nothing to distract me, including the movie. What
would you have been talking about if you had something to distract you? Nothing.
I don't know.
You looked up, you blinked, she had a different guy in there naked.
There were a lot of guys in that truck that kept disappearing. That's all I got for that part.
Yeah.
And then her running away, though, I think made sense. Like, because she's terrified of kind of what's happening, and she just runs away from the guy and ends up randomly in a park.
And boy, is that guy really good at playing just creepy logger. I don't know whatever other role that man could have, but that is perfect for him.
Even when you first see him, and just a little bit part he does where he's like, when he just starts talking, he's like, oh, really wet here and this and that. And I'm like, you're a creep. Like right away, I'm like.
But did you notice his questions for her were some of the questions she would ask the guys? Are you here by yourself?
Did not catch that.
You're just here for relaxation? Oh, anybody else with you? Oh, do you have any family here? Oh.
I did not catch that. Mm-hmm. Okay, that raises the bar on the movie being impressive for that part.
They weren't exactly the same, but they were similar.
Yeah, because he's hunting her, essentially.
Hunter.
Yep.
Okay, I did not catch that.
So at this point, the movie has done a complete 180 from the beginning, which is appropriate because this is the start of the end.
Indeed. This is the kind of sort of third act, yeah.
One little thing I want to mention is earlier on, one of the times when she takes the guys into the dark goo, you see what she looks like under the skin, where you just see the figure all in black.
Yeah, that's
in the background.
Moment. That's a very cool.
You didn't blink; you were looking at your phone.
Oh yeah, well I blinked on my phone
because you were done. You were like, "Why am I watching this with you?"
I blinked on my phone. I missed that part. I'm like, maybe I'll watch it again. Don't sigh at me. I heard that.
You will watch it again.
I hate you.
And what that was yeah. So I was going to say real quick. That moment when she's getting attacked in the I guess in the Wikipedia call it a bothy. I don't know if that's
a shelter from what the YouTube said, a shelter for if you get caught in a storm. What
okay.
Kind of there
yeah. Okay. Like a temporary shelter that's for everybody.
Yeah.
When she's there laying and then she gets attacked. This is for me. This spoke to her understanding what that's supposed to feel like, as opposed to this aggressive thing, because she had that interaction with the man in the house. So for her, this is different than what I experienced with the other person. This feels wrong and scary. And her taking flight, yeah, that's like a natural thing. And boy, oh boy, is that hard to watch this just ghoul, this absolute ghoul attack her. It's because you want to say, you're the black ghoul girl, do something, alien person, but it's so scary.
Well, she didn't have powers. She just
she took
them to a place,
of course,
where they were murdered.
Yeah, that already had things set up.
Yeah, she
emotions, and now she's broken, like a lot.
Yeah, well, not broken, but she's now experiencing what it is to be human, right? Fear, and it's I think again in that whole scene where she's that ghoul's attacking her is really hard to watch. Then of course he rips her skin, and underneath is the real her, and her emerging from her skin shroud or costume, whatever you want to say. Her emerging from that is so beautifully shot. It's so sad, and there's a frailty to that form that is really touching, and even the expression on her face as she's removing. It's almost like she's mourning losing this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I caught it. She's mourning.
She's saying goodbye to her.
Yeah, she's saying goodbye. Yeah, great way of putting it.
Yeah, this is an experience, and while I didn't expect to have it, I'm grateful that I did have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is now saying goodbye to that experience in just the worst way.
Oh boy! Again, the ghoul and the ghoul, of course, lights her on fire, throws gas on her, lights her on fire.
So
she ran awfully fast.
All I could think of, and I have to make this joke, Bill, is how because you see her go in the truck. She goes in the truck. She hits to get help and realizes, oh shit, it's the same fucker. Runs off. He chases after her. And then when he tries to rape her. And then when he runs away, he's back there in no time with a gas can. And all I could think of was Hulk with Edward Norton. That's all that went through my head. Yep, there he is. Boom, got moving in.
You thought
he's never gonna let that go.
Nope, never.
And guess what? I'm the one who pointed it out to
you're
him
welcome.
too.
Oh,
and it was just
boy, Tiff.
So I guess you're welcome, Bill.
It was he just lights her on fire, just that is just, I mean, I get it. Like, it makes sense. I mean, one thing, he committed a crime, and two, he's like, well, you're not human, so and you're strange, I have to kill you.
Yeah, what would you do if you encountered an alien? Like, seriously.
I would run. I wouldn't turn back. I would just be too scared to turn back. I'd just keep running.
I think if it was an alien just sitting there like that, maybe with a human skin,
I'd run.
I would probably run.
I'd run, get in that car, and drive off.
Okay.
I don't think I'd light it on fire.
But, like, what if you were a rapist serial killer? Would you then light it on fire?
It does fit the character, yes.
It does if it's scary.
I'm a chicken shit.
I am not qualified to start intergalactic relations. Okay, I am not Jean-Luc Picard. I'm not qualified to talk to aliens. So let me run and.
He didn't follow the
pray.
Prime Directive.
Yeah, no, I did not follow.
But no, I get it. Like, you bring up a point, Ken. Like, that does fit the character if it was, because again, there are real people just like that. It fits the person of what, if you're willing to commit that act, you'd be willing to burn someone alive.
Well, because also he's like, he didn't know what this being was, and he didn't know if it had friends. So he's like, uh-oh, somebody else might be coming after me. I gotta get rid of it fast.
But I didn't expect that's just how the movie ends. She wanders off on fire, and
it to just end like that.
That's it.
Final shot of the handler, looking out over the mountains, and I don't know if he can see or if he can tell, because I think he can see the smoke coming up. Implies that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like to think that he can't see it, but that he feels it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I kind of got. That they have like some sort of a connection. That's why he keeps looking at her in the eyes. Well,
he was looking for emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he can feel it, that she's getting weird.
Okay.
So he keeps looking at her. I don't know. I just pulled that out of nowhere.
No, it's fair. No,
I like that. That's what I was thinking too. Because like he's checking. I thought that whole scene where they're like just kind of facing each other was exactly that. Like he was checking to make sure that, the person he was sent there to look after was still indeed there.
Yeah.
And there's one small scene after she goes missing where you see a bunch of psycho people or motorcycle people running around. Like there's a whole team of these handlers out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which again makes sense.
You can't just have one motorcycle person. I told you that they run in gangs.
Not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
An alien motorcycle gang?
Hey, even real people. If you know a guy with a motorcycle, there's a chances he knows 3 other people he rides with. So, hey,
it takes 3 to make a gang. That's all you need. It's 3 people.
My dad used to ride motorcycle, and he had people he'd go ride with too. It's just a thing. I guess I don't ride motorcycle because I wanted to. Then my dad went flying off one, and I was like, "Yeah, we're good. I never need to ride one again."
I'm okay with that because you're kind of klutzy. So
yeah, I was like, you know what? 2 wheels on the ground and nothing to protect me. I'll stick with 4 in a shell. I'm good. Never. Terrifies me. But yes. But no, I mean it was cool to like think about the idea that there's more of these people out there doing that. Need food.
That makes you feel better.
It feels better.
Become food. Good thing you're married.
Well,
Where's your chicken wine?
It's upstairs somewhere. But I wouldn't get into a van with a random woman anyway. I've been always too terrified in general. Like I've only one time in my life ever had someone give me a ride somewhere I didn't know. That was in a blizzard I was just going down the street to Sam's Club where I went to work. That's the only time.
I've never gotten in the car with a stranger, other than like, of course, like an Uber or something. But I've never done that.
Did it once. Huh. It was an older couple, and they knew where. I mean, I was literally could see Sam's Club from where I was, and they're like, and it was a huge blizzard.
So I love how we normalize getting in a car with a stranger because it's an Uber. That's okay.
That is interesting, right?
A picture of their file and everything.
I mean, they're pretty well tracked, I think. Yeah,
but still,
that is not okay.
We're still getting in a car with a stranger.
Hey, some people who might be drunk might not get in the Uber that you send for them instead. Hey,
we're talking about one.
Yes, we are talking about a certain event, but that's another thing. But no, I do see what you mean. Like we do normalize it in certain cases, but like in a case like this, I mean, I see one that get in the car and everything, and you're like, hey, let's go to my house. Let's get some nookie. Like, no.
Oh my God, how much easier would this movie be now? Like, this alien would clean up now.
Oh, totally. If all she has to do is drive for Lyft, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
She don't have to do that. She just makes an okay, fans, something like one of those, and only fans pay to be like, hey, I'll come over. Are you alone? No one else there? Okay, I'll be right there. Come with me.
Let's go.
Oh my God. All right, so
we need Under the Skin point 2.0.
Yeah, somebody get
modern version.
She's an escort
Jonathan
service.
Glazer on the phone. Tell him to put down the zone of interest and work on Under the Skin 2, Skin Harder. Let's go.
Oh, but it's just like the subtlety of this movie was not something I expected. Like, I was expecting things to jump out at me a couple different points, and it never did. And I was like, I mean, it wasn't that kind of movie, but I kept thinking that was going to happen. Again, not the movie's fault.
Well, no, it is the movie's fault.
My fault.
Like, okay, look, I like this movie. I like this movie a lot. I think it's got some really cool ideas, really have some amazing things going on in it. But if the vehicle that you make to deliver your good ideas is not entertaining, if people find it a slog to sit through, it's failed its primary mission, which is why this movie bombed in the box office, honestly.
I was surprised how bad it bombed. I mean, before I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think I read somewhere that it missed the sweet spot of independent movie. It was too expensive for a small independent movie, and it was not cheap. It was too cheap to be like a big deal, right? Like $15 million. It's a decent amount of money. That's a good amount of money to make a movie, but you're not making anything extravagant or, most dramas cost like 30, 40 million. But so this is pretty shoestring budget for what it's trying to do. So it kind of got caught in the middle of it.
Of an indie movie.
It kind of is. It's a high concept independent. Yeah, it's a high concept independent film. But again, with the director at the helm, who is so adept at creating a movie or creating tension. And again, we haven't talked about tension. The scenes in which these people are being led into, the black goop and all of the. He's so good at tension. And I've seen this before, and I'm still tensing up in the chair watching it. So I think it's an interesting exercise. It's one of those movies where, and I think this kind of speaks to what Ken was saying. If you walked out of it saying, what in God's name did I watch? If you got led into this theater, like the men into the black goop, by some friends who were in film school, like those three friends who were like the real big film buffs, like, hey, I'm going to check out this movie. Scarlett Johansson gets naked. And you're like, all right, well, hey, it's a Wednesday night. I got nothing else going on. And you walk in there. And you walk out being like, Emperor has no clothes. Like, why are all these like film people going crazy about this? You're not wrong. You're not wrong at this.
No.
You're not. You really aren't. And even art movies, quote unquote, they can be pretty obtuse. But this one in particular is purposefully obtuse for good reason. And again, I agree with Ken. I really like this, but in almost a more admiration way. And we'll talk about it when we shelf stack our box. But you're not wrong if you walk out of this saying, what did I just watch? This sucks. You are okay. You know what I mean?
Good.
You can ignore the Rotten Tomatoes 85% and all it won some awards. It's considered.
Did it really?
Oh yeah. This is a very well received movie, and
I don't remember this movie coming out. I don't remember it at all.
You wouldn't have, because there was no promotion for it. It came out around Winter Soldier, evidently. Everyone's watching Captain America Winter Soldier.
I would have rather been watching.
Okay, so here's a question then. If it didn't go head to head with Winter Soldier, do you think it would have done better?
No, because this is the kind of thing you see at the IFC Film Theater in New York, or at the Angelica, or here, in the Violet Crown Cinema. Like, this doesn't show up at maybe Alamo Draft House, but I mean, like, this doesn't show up in your major movie plexes. This is something that's got a small release, and it costs too much money to warrant a small release, because that's the kind of movie this is, and that's fine. And trust me, I love those movies. I went to see dozens of those when I was really into film, like really going to see movies every week. I've seen lots of these things, but this is a singular experience, and I think I don't know. I really like it, but I don't blame you if you don't, because it's a hard one. It's not an easy watch. It really requires a lot of work on the audience's part.
It really does. Too much for it to be successful.
When we got done watching this movie, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? This is boring. This is dumb. Then the next day I let it sit in, think about it. I watched a YouTube video that explained a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, okay, now I can appreciate this movie more. And as we talked, I appreciate it more. And like, part of me likes that. But the other part of me is like, that's not a good movie going experience.
And like, I also want to say, if this movie was released now, it would do so much better.
Oh, probably. That's fair.
Because the distributor of this movie is doing pretty damn all right for themselves. This was distributed in the United States by everybody's favorite distributor, A24.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good old A24.
Yep. I actually purchased this digitally in a 3-pack. They called it Sci-Fi Caviar because it came with this, Claire Denis High Life, and Ex Machina.
Ex Machina is a good one. That's
Never seen Ex Machina either.
Three A24 sci-fi movies, and this was before they blew up and became all caps A24.
Yeah, Prestige.
Before they won all the Oscars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Prestige films. Yeah, that's kind of their thing. But yeah, no, it's again. So Mike, here's the question now. So you've seen it. You gave yourself a couple days, which is good. I'm glad I did the same thing. I saw this a couple nights ago. Have we talked you into liking this movie? Have we convinced you? After you've talked through it, because initially you didn't like it. We get it. I know it's fine, and most people didn't. But now that you've talked through it with us and you've watched the YouTube videos, do you now like this movie?
No, I understand it better, and I have more of appreciation for what it is. But no, I didn't like it. That doesn't change. I can appreciate it for what it is.
That's fine.
But it's not. But again, I like my action-y movies. I like what I like, and this wasn't it.
Right.
Not to say it's not good. It just wasn't it.
And there's no shame in that.
No, there really isn't. And that's kind of what annoys me about movies like this, because this movie really is purposefully obtuse. It's doing this on purpose. It's making me feel stupid for a reason. Again, there's lots of beautiful things, and I'm not making fun of it, but just being honest about how I felt when I first saw it. You're more than allowed to look at this and say, this is, I don't like this. And especially, for me, when I saw it in theaters, I was surrounded by people who were just enamored, just overflowing. And it was so bad. I felt like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I felt the same way walking out of Boyhood. Like, why are we all freaking out about this movie? Why? Oh, it took them 58 years to make. Yeah, cool. I don't get it. That's another one I don't get. I don't know. You're allowed to like things. I go to movies for characters. For me, I'm an acting person. I love good acting. That's acting for me. I'll take that over cinematography. I know it's not a big film person thing to say. I like acting. I like characters. I like plot. I like story. I like structure. I like these things. And this movie has almost none of those. Again, it has a plot and it has lots of character building, but it's all like it's behind a brick wall. And I really wish it wasn't behind such a big brick wall because, to Ken's point, more people would appreciate the really great things this movie is trying to do and how beautifully it presents it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to find more things to talk about because, as I'll say in my bit, we can't talk less about this movie than we did about goddamn Blade Trinity, okay? We spent well over 2 hours.
Oh, we ain't going to get there, but
we can't. It's not possible.
It's not possible. I know. I just think
the
about
raw
this.
audio, though, of this episode is actually currently more than what we talked about the edited version of Thing, and we're not done yet.
I know. The fact we have to redo that episode. Ken, can we redo that one too? Reanimator and Thing. I don't. How did we escape the Thing? We must have all been very tired.
Look,
you know what?
I got the perfect way to redo it.
Do it.
We do a double header. We watch both things.
I love it. I'm down. Bring it on. Next Halloween.
I'm starting to plan your Spooktober for you.
Okay. All right. Any last things you guys want to say? Should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go first. If I can say my part. I'm going to put this in the box. I have much more appreciation for it after our conversation, after watching it. But looking at it as a movie as a whole, I didn't enjoy what I was watching when I was watching it. So for me, it has to go in the box because it just wasn't for me. Tiffany?
So after this conversation, I might want to watch it again, maybe, but it still goes in the box because I just overall did not enjoy it. I don't like to think when I'm watching a movie. It made me think too much.
It doesn't entertain you, and that's the whole thing. And that's nothing wrong with that because that's what a movie's supposed to do. It's supposed to entertain you, and this movie does not entertain.
It was a very literal movie version of a book. It was like I was watching a book. Didn't do much else.
I mean, that is fair. And what about you, Bill?
This is a kind of movie that Stack is made for. And this is a Stack for me. And the reason being is, again, I really appreciate this movie. I think there's a lot of great things in there. I have no desire to see this. Maybe in another decade when, I don't know, Iron Man returns for the 80th time and Scarlett Johansson appears out of nowhere and Mr. Albertin here is just screaming, "Yay, she's back!" I'll a little thing in my head will go, "Oh yeah, remember Under the Skin?" And I might watch it again, but it will probably be another decade before I pop this in and see it. Again, it's a movie I appreciate, and I will take this opportunity to say, if you walked out of this theater in 2013 thinking, "What did I just watch?" and to give it a sideways glance to, Winter Soldier and say, "I wish I was in that Scarlett Johansson movie," I would strongly encourage you to watch it again. I really would. I'd strongly encourage you to give it another shot now that you had that first experience, because it's definitely rewards that extra time. But yeah, I'm going to stack this one, and this is a perfect stack. This is like slam dunk for me.
Okay. And what about you, Ken?
Shelf. I'm putting it on the shelf. I very much like this movie. The soundtrack by Michael Levy is absolutely amazing. Whether or not you like atonal instruments that depends on how you get the mileage out of the soundtrack. That's fair. The movie is fantastic. It's beautifully shot. Absolutely stunning work by everybody involved in this movie. But yeah, no, it's definitely going on the shelf for me. It is on my shelf, honestly. And 2 years. I give it 2 years. Within 2 years, you will all watch this again.
Okay.
Are we putting some money on that?
No.
Put money on that. That is how confident I am.
Hey, you know what? That's fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
One day you're going to think about this conversation. You're going to think about some of the things. You could even be as soon as this episode releases and you listen to it.
I'm
You
trying to
will
think how
watch
much
It's
it.
released in like 3 days. So,
You'll watch
or
it
4
again.
days. Because this has to come out the end of this month of March. So,
Oh yeah, it's true.
Coming soon, babe.
yeah, I know. I have to edit it quickly. But the last thing I do want to go out on is this is currently on HBO Max. So if you are curious after listening to our conversation, and no, we didn't ruin the movie because we explained this, you might appreciate it more, actually.
Fair. It's very
But watch
fair.
it. It's on HBO Max.
I encourage you to do so.
Because we didn't ruin anything.
I mean, we ruined stuff, but it's not like I feel like
So if someone goes in knowing that she's an alien, it might make more sense.
I think the stuff
Yes.
that we said,
Yeah,
if you're
actually
looking
would.
for the allegories of rape, you're looking for the fact that she goes from a hunter to the prey, kind of in a sense. Like, I think you'll appreciate the movie more than somebody going, "Hey, we're gonna watch the Scarlett Johansson film, babe. Are you excited?" And going, "What did I just put on?" Like, I think you'll. I mean, if I would have watched the YouTube video first to explain what I was watching, I would have came into it with a more appreciation than I did yesterday, 2 days ago. So.
Yes, I would be very upset if I spoiled Back to the Future for somebody. I would not be upset spoiling this movie for somebody. You're 100% right. I think that extra context will really allow you to enjoy it way more than just walking in blind. Yeah, totally agree. Watch it. It's a good movie. It's HBO Max. Stop watching The Dumb Last of Us already. We get it. We get it.
I haven't seen that
Joel,
yet.
What is The
Ellie,
Last of
we
Us?
get
It's
it.
a show based on a video game that's doing
we
really,
get
really
it.
good. That just season 1 ended.
We get it.
No,
I'm
I gotta see who wins RuPaul's Drag Race like 10 years ago.
Priorities.
Priorities.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I don't want to watch Last of Us. I'm so sick of like that game and everything. Like I played the game once, and I'm like, it's
Isn't
not.
that weird alien game?
No.
Oh, that's something else.
Yes, I play a lot of weird games.
The Last of Us is fine. It's a perfectly fine game. It's good.
It's too overhyped.
I'm so sick of 85 remasters. I guessed it on Nerds Without Pants last night, and I had the exact same conversation with the host there where I'm like, I don't care about this dumb game. I don't care about this show. I've hit a point where the hype is so high. I am now out. I'm done.
Game's
I don't.
fine. I mean, I enjoyed the game, but then I'm like, then you remastered the game. Okay, cool. You put it on PS4. All right. Then you remade the game on PS5. And I'm like, there's other games I'd rather see. I get it, but I'm like, come on now. You just leave it alone. Where's my Xenogears remake? Damn it.
Yeah, right there we go.
Okay, enough of me ranting. Bill, where can people find you at?
Yeah, y'all know by now probably. A Gamer Looks at 40. We are almost done. If this is coming out in a few days, we are almost done with the Legend of Zelda series. I've been doing this for 7 months now, and it is finally time to put this series to bed. The final episode is on the April 2nd, so hopefully y'all check that out. It's about Breath of the Wild and looking forward, and I think it's going to be a good one. So yeah, check that out. And all the other things on Twitter is where I mainly hang my hat. A Gamer Looks at 40. All the things and all the stuffs exist there. So consider that your hub for now.
And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 450 other episodes you can see of that we do. We do movies, comics, games, TV seasons, all sorts of stuff. Go look through our giant catalog, and you can search stuff on Podbean. I found out. So if you go to our website, you can search. Yeah, I think Podbean updated it. I will say I've been doing it, so you can search stuff. So
either that or you just figured out how to do it.
Who knows? But you can go look on there. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fear. You can follow her on TikTok. And tell her I sent you. She'll tell me. So I'll go do that. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. And if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. You can vote. We have a Patreon poll every month. The one coming up right after you hear this is Tim Curry movies Mike has never seen. So go vote in that. I'm not, and I don't know for sure what it's going to be. We're just going to leave it at that, but go vote.
I know what I'm voting
So
for.
that will be on there. And we have a Discord. You see the link in the show notes. Please go join that. And you can please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And please review us on whatever you can. Spotify lets you review everywhere. Go review. All right. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.